it really is about consistency of being involved in the organization that maybe hosts the conference throughout the year so that when you go to a conference, it's more productive in terms of knowing people and continuing to build on relationships, which builds that know, like, and trust factor that leads to a book of business.
Welcome to our Happy Rainmakers Video Series, where point one can make a difference. I'm joined today by Jamie Sternberg. She's the founder of Drumlin Strategies, which focuses on business development coaching and LinkedIn coaching for lawyers and law firms. We're really pleased to have you today.
Thank you so much for having me, Jen.
So one of the things that I wanted to get your take on is conferences. Do you have any tips and tricks for feeling more confident? Say you're at the conference by yourself for the first time. Even people who are usually friendly might feel a little intimidated trying to make new contact. Are,
Right.
are there any ways to go about it that feel better?
People network differently. So for me, I look to see if I know anybody. If I know one or two people who can start introducing me to new people, I feel better that way. So again, look at that attendee list and see if there's anyone who you can reach out to who maybe you can, hang out with them a little bit more since it's your first time. Maybe they know the ropes. If you know nobody, you may want to focus a little bit more on the sessions and going to events that the organization that's hosting the conference plans, because you may not be invited to more like personal things. So being friendly, introducing yourself. I even had to coach myself because I do like to have a warm introduction. That's how I network. And once I have that, I'm off and running. But so I had to coach myself to be more forward than I would usually feel comfortable doing. And so that's just what you have to do. You just have to start getting out there. So the more and more you go back to a conference every year, the more people you're going to know in every room that you're in, the more invitations you're going to get to social events, the more comfortable you're going to feel maybe hosting a social event. So it really is about consistency of being involved in the organization that maybe hosts the conference throughout the year so that when you go to a conference, it's more productive in terms of knowing people and continuing to build on relationships, which builds that know, like, and trust factor that leads to a book of business.
Great ideas. And just last question about conferences. Sometimes people go to a conference and they're very energetic while they're there and they meet a lot of people and then they fall down on the follow-up part of it.
Yes.
What do you recommend once you've made a few good connections? What can you do after the conference?
So after the conference, if you haven't already connected with people on LinkedIn, I would make sure you connect on LinkedIn if that is appropriate for your practice area with everyone you've met. So everyone maybe you have a business card from or have some other way of remembering who you met with, and send a short note to say, it was really nice meeting you at the conference or at X session during the conference or at X dinner. Let's keep in touch here between conferences. Other people may need a more detailed email. So, really hot leads for potential business, you want to connect with them on LinkedIn, but also send a more detailed email, maybe suggesting a follow up, a virtual coffee date after that. But what I would do is schedule a specific time in your calendar to follow up with people, either do one big chunk of time or schedule point one, every day for a week to kind of just get through the list if that's the way you want to do it. But following up within, the first few weeks after the conference is a good idea, or else it's just going to go further and further down on your priority list. And that's why during the conference, the easiest thing to do is to use that QR code that can be generated to your LinkedIn profile and just connect with people right on the spot. And then you can see a list of your recent connections on LinkedIn and send them a message when you get back, similar to what I just suggested. And if you don't know how to generate the QR code, you click on the search bar in the mobile app at the top of your homepage, you should be able to generate the QR code for your LinkedIn profile.
Well, thank you very much. You definitely speak our language with your point one. We usually ask at the end of the video if you could give us something that people who have watched the video could do in point one. I think if you've recently been to a conference, we have your advice. And if you haven't been to a conference, maybe you take point one and research which conference to go to next.
Exactly. Yeah. So I would look up your biggest industry conference of the year, and then maybe for one of the big industry areas that you practice in, see when their next conference is, and, put it on your calendar to either submit a proposal or just register for it.
Well, thank you so much. I know this is going to be really helpful to a lot of people. Thanks for being
Yeah.
with us.
Thank you.